Hi everyone, welcome. We're going to hold off for a second because this is an event. So when you hop on, say hi. I'm working on a rag bow. So I hope everybody's Friday was good. So some of these strips are a little wide, so I'm just cutting them in half. So say hi when you're here. Oh, let me get myself pulled up over here just in case. So we're going to hold off until Gia gets us put in. So say hi. Hi, Yadi. Thank you for sprinkling. I appreciate that. So we're just holding off for just a second until I see that we're in. So I'm just working on a rag bow with some jingle bells on it right now. Hi. Say hi when you're here so I hope I don't lose you all. I'm circling on my phone. That's not a good sign. We are expected to have a storm and it feels like it outside too. Hi, Brenda. My followers have been missing me this week. Hi, Diane. I went to a different facility. I still work for the same company, but it's like 3 times the size. And I knew I was going to have issues with it till my body agrees to work with it's like 5 miles walking every single day. Oh, South Louisiana, hi. Okay, thank you. This is Creative Crafters Ensemble. I'm Jenna with Apple Dolly Creations, and this is the Santa event. So, until late last night, I still didn't know what I was making. I had to go find a pattern for somebody, and I came across, it's sort of a stump doll pattern I have, and I haven't made it for 100 years. So I thought, that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to make it into a Santa. So I made one today just to see how it would work out. Hi, Donna. Hi, Julie. Thank you. Something just fell on my foot, and that felt weird. So I worked on it today just to, work all the kinks out since I haven't done a stump doll. I normally don't do stump dolls. That's why I haven't made this one in 100 years. But I never made a Santa stump doll. So this is what we're making. This is the one I worked out today. So it's sort of a stump doll. So that's what we're making. So this is just a velour fabric that I have that I like to use. The only time I use it is at Christmas. And I bought at an estate sale one time like 20 yards of it. So I'm going to have this the rest of my life. So, that's what we're doing. So this is the shape of it. Very simple. I did a boxed bottom. I've done that a lot of times on my page. If you don't know how to do that, go to my page and there's lots of videos showing how to do this. And I just made a round head. Now when you're doing stuffing things, hi Jody, 600 years, that's right. And your seams are wrinkled, doesn't matter. Now this is like really, really firm. I used a different batting in this, so it's not as soft. I wanted this whole thing to be really stiff because I wanted to sit up by itself because it doesn't have legs and it doesn't have arms. So if you're doing something like this and you cannot get the wrinkles out, and sometimes it doesn't matter how much stuffing you put in, or the kind of stuffing you use. I use, let me make sure this is hot. I don't have my regular, yeah, it's hot. You can take your iron. Now this is for applique, but you can use a regular iron. And when I use a regular iron, I just sit it here and then I take this over the sole plate. But what you do is just heat up your seams and it will take all those wrinkles out. Now on this it wouldn't matter because he's got a beard and a hat and I still don't like wrinkles. So you just heat those seams up and you iron it right out. So if I have an iron, a regular iron sitting here, I would just have it sitting here and I would just take the doll head or the arm, whatever, and go just like this. Take it right over top of those seams. And you work out every single one of those wrinkles just by ironing it. So that's a tip for the new doll makers. So this is like really, really firm. I used an upholstery fiberfill, and it doesn't have any give to it. I mean, you can squeeze it a little bit, but it doesn't have any firm or any softness to it like the polyester does. Because I want this to sit up, I want it to be very firm. I wish I could see the comments over here. This is crazy. I can never get them both to work at the same time. So when you're, and I'm using faux fur for the beard, the trim on the Santa hat and mustache, and we're giving him old man eyebrows. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to glue this onto the body. So you definitely could hand sew this. Hi, Joanne. Yes, it is a great tip. It's very, very easy because I don't care how much stuffing you put in and how much you work it toward these seams. Sometimes you just cannot get that wrinkle out. And even if you clipped your seams on all the curves, you can't get it out. But that's a really good tip to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position this here where I want it. So it's going to go right between the shoulders here. And I'm just going to glue this on. So I pre-made these because I spent more time decorating this thing than I did making the body and head and stuffing it. So I'm just pushing this right down and I'm moving the head around a little bit just to work it into that glue. And we're just going to hold this for a second. Hi, Colette. How are you? Oh yeah, if you stuff too much, especially if you're using forceps or tweezers or something to get your fiberfill inside, you can poke right through the fabric and rip it. So I stuff as much as I possibly can, and then I iron it. Because you know, ironing gets wrinkles out, right? And I got a little bit too much glue right there, so I'm going to fix that. I'm just holding this here so it catches. So Colette, how's your dad? You just leave the wrinkles? Hey, it's primitive, right? You can make it primitive and leave the wrinkles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit extra glue and put right along the back of this head. So at this point, there's no front and back. When you're working with faux fur, you get it everywhere. It's really bad when you're doing, when I'm doing a memory bear out of a vintage fur coat, I have to wear a mask. So I'm just holding this here to let that glue set up. We're going to take him and set him aside. So I just cut, this is faux fur. Can you see how it just shreds? And I don't know if you can see it flying around, but it does. When you're cutting faux fur, you don't want to cut it like fabric. You don't want to cut it straight across like that. You blunt the fur and you can never get that fluffed up again. So when you're cutting faux fur, real fur or faux fur, you just want to take your scissors and put it right underneath of the backing and make tiny little snips, just cutting that backing. You don't want to cut the fur itself, because then you can just take off the excess and it stays fluffed up. You have a nice edge, because now you can't tell where it's been cut. Hi, Wanda. Yes, you did. So if you join my Telegram, I send out messages like 15 minutes, 30 minutes before I go live. So that's one way you can find me. I don't know why people are saying they're having a hard time finding me. You're not the first one. Oh, thank you for sprinkling, Sharon. I didn't know if I was going to be able to go live. I tried this 3 times before it actually connected. So I don't know if it's because, you know, storms are coming or... So see, that's on there really good now. So I should have brought a lint roller in because of this fur, but we'll get through it. So what I'm doing is I just have this red velour, or this is like a velour, something like that. And I'm just going to measure this around his head. That piece fits perfect. I have a whole bunch of this. Some of it's in pieces, and then some of it I have yards of it. So I'm just going to fold this back to the front edge. And I have a piece of fur that I'm putting right along the edge of this. I'm leaving a little overlap. Hi, Diana. I'm not going completely to the edge because when I fold this in half, I want the fabric to glue, not the fur. Oh, well, I'm glad he's doing better. Hopefully the blood pressure can get under control. So I'm cutting it just a little bit short, so that when I do that overlap, I'm not cutting that or gluing that fur. And see how it sheds? Christmas is the only time I use faux fur unless a customer requests something, because it is such a mess. And I'm gluing the fur, and I'm going to put it right on the edge of his hat. So when I sewed this today, because this velour has a stretch in it, and if you've ever tried to stuff a stretchy fabric, you cannot get enough fiberfill inside of it because it just keeps stretching and stretching. So this is a lightweight canvas, so I made the body out of lightweight canvas and the velour. That way when I stuffed it, I'm only stuffing the lightweight canvas, and it took all the stretch out of this velour fabric. Because if you try to get enough fiber fill in a stretchy fabric, it looks deformed. So I'm just folding this in half and pulling this fur back, and I'm going to glue this edge. Now I'm not gluing all the way to the end because I want to fringe the edge of this fabric. So I'm just going to pull this over. Hi, Kay. So if I've missed any of you, I always go back and read all my comments. So this is going to be our hat. So what I'm using for his eyes are actual doll eyes. I buy these are really small. They go from almost too tiny to handle, or for me to handle, to, I'm not sure the millimeter on these, but I buy these only for the eyes. So you see I have lots of backing in there. I don't use the backings on the tiny ones. And I'm cutting, well, no, let's not cut those off. We'll make a hole. So I'm going to take a marker and just mark where I want his eyes to be. Just a tiny dot. Just so I make sure that they're even. I'm not sure what this is. It has some kind of crochet thing. I don't know what it is. I don't crochet, but it came in a sewing box that I bought at a thrift shop one time, and I'm just poking holes right in that fabric. So I'm not exactly sure what that is, but I use it for all kinds of stuff. So I just made 2 holes, and I have faux fur on here. Let me wipe it off. I'm just putting 2 dots of glue, and then I'm just going to poke those shanks on those eyes right into those holes. There we go. These have like a corkscrew back. Sometimes you actually have to turn them to get them all the way in. So I saved all my tiny bits. Yes, we're making a Santa Claus. This is the Santa event with Creative Crafters Ensemble. So we are making a Santa stump doll. So I saved these tiny little bits, and we're making old man eyebrows. So how are you, Connie? I'm just putting a tiny dot of glue and then spreading it with the tip of my glue tool. I think that's what got me in trouble last week, because I said what it is. I answered their comment, the reason why I was locked out. If you don't tell me what I said, I will say it again. I'm one of those people that speak then think, you know. So if you don't tell me what I said, I am going to repeat that. See? I don't think they like me. I have been locked out more. That's why I'm afraid to do an event, because I never know when I'm going to be locked out. I know, right? If the manufacturer calls it that, you know? So I just have some blush, and we're going to give him nice big cheeks. Real dark ones, because his mustache is going to cover a lot of that. So I have just a circle of fabric that I did a running stitch around it. This is his nose, and we're going to stuff this. Just take a little bit of batting and shove inside of that. Now this is regular fiber fill. I try to not use the upholstery fiber fill unless I'm doing something like this, because it's pricier than regular fiber fill. Well, I pulled my running stitch out. So I got to put it back in. Hi, Mel. I sent you an email. I'm your ornament exchange partner. So let's do that one again. Pull that, put that fiberfill in there, and I'm pulling this really, really tight because I want him to have a little round nose. And shove that inside of there. I'm just shoving the fiberfill inside. My husband and I have been remodeling the front part of this house for 1.5 years. And we may have a child that's going to be staying with us for a little while. They're moving here. And our guest bedrooms and bathroom was all torn apart. So we have to have a place for them to sleep. So Tony was working on that today. Every time we go to do something in this house, there's another issue. And he was so upset today about all these issues that I said, dear Lord, please help us. Because I was like, oh my gosh, we can't continue doing this. We're too old. So I just made a little round nose. Good. Good. That's what I've been sewing with most of this year is scrap fabric. So I am putting just a little bit of glue on the back, and I'm going to place it right between his eyes. And I'm going to hold it down because I want it to be really tightly glued there. Hi, Barb. Okay, Mel, I just need your address. I sent you mine for the exchange. He's a little button nose. So I'm going to take the blush and just go right over top of his nose a little bit. Just because he's been out in the cold. And you know how your nose gets when you're in the cold? So I'm just going to put another dot of glue under that nose. Okay, so we're going to take, and I'm just using scraps of this fur. I feel like I have a spider web on me. Just a scrap. And, oh, is that right? Yeah, just a little button nose. And I'm going to figure out how, well, this has to be cut in half. But I'm going to cut it starting at a corner and going down because I want it to be mustache shaped. So I'm just, this might even be too big. We'll try it. So see, I did that to the bottom and I'm going to do it to the top. Because we can make him have a handlebar too. There we go. I'll show you the back. It's easier to see the shape. And we're going to stick that right up underneath of his nose. Not stick your finger in it. That would help. That's number 1. So the first one I did not grunge. This one we're going to grunge if we have time. So the sides of his mustache are loose. I'm going to leave them that way until I get the beard on, and then we're going to shape that. So again, another scrap piece of fur. Let's see if this one's big enough. It's big enough. I just have to trim it. So this is coming to a V. So I'm going to use that part. And let me put some blush under that mustache for his mouth. And I made that really, really dark under his mustache because most of it's going to be covered up with this. So I need to dip this down a little bit more for the nose. Okay, so I have to round this off. So tiny little snips when you're using this fur. And I do save all of my scraps, like for the eyebrows. That's just a tiny little piece that normally would have been thrown away. Now this is really good if you have a straight razor blade to use with the fur. So we're just going to glue this beard right at the top. I'm not gluing the bottom yet. Just right at the top is what we're gluing. Did I just freeze? Thank you. I thought I froze. So there's that. So when you're using faux fur and you want to shape it, hairspray. All I do is spray my fingers. Oops, I just pulled his eyebrow off. Poor guy. And just rub it over. I must not have had that glued on. Or not enough glue. We'll just implant it back on. And then I just take my fingers and rub it over the fur. And it will stay just how you put it. Santa on Rudolph? Yeah. So I want his eyebrows that stand up. Now I'm going to shape his mustache. So all I'm doing is taming the fur. Okay. Now my fingers are sticky. So we're going to put this hat on. Can you see the fur flying? Usually when someone says that, that's not a good thing. I'm going to slip this on his head. Right to the top of his eyebrows. And I'm going to put a little glue and hold that on. I just put glue under the whole thing. Hi, Marcia. Hi, Julie. Let me shape those eyebrows. I must them up. So you can do that with any fur. Yeah, sometimes I even use it with the real fur. Oh, thank you. I made that on a live. This is just another one. We made this on a live. I'm going to put him on a base, though. Yeah. I forgot he was back there. I was working on him today, too. Okay. So I'm going to fringe the top of this. So if you're not comfortable doing something like this freehand, take a piece of painter's tape across it and then just cut up to that line. That's how I used to do it. About 600 years ago. So you can put a big pom-pom. I just decided to fringe the edges of this. So we're going to open this up and put some fiberfill inside his hat. Hi, Dina. Welcome. So I'm just going to put it all around his head inside the hat. That way it just will help it stand up a little bit. So I'm going to take a small piece of this fabric and just cut a strip. We're going to put Jingle Bells on this and tie his hat. So I'm cutting the tip of this at an angle so I can get it into my bells. Y'all could see my lap. I'm covered in white fur. Hi, Mom. Mom, you have not missed me. This is the first I've been on this week because of work. I knew going to the new facility was going to affect me because it's like over 3 football fields big. And I went from a small facility. I worked at this one before. But because of my fibromyalgia, I went to a small one. A smaller one. But I went back to this one. And I knew it was going to affect me. So I did training all last week with the girls and stuff they should have known and didn't. So I'm just tying Jingle Bells on the ends of this. Yeah, it's so big you can't walk around it without a golf cart or communicate without walkie-talkies. Hi, Dawn. Welcome. So, found equipment that has to be repaired. So I'm just tying this right at the top where the fiber fill is, right at the top. And I'm pulling this really tight and just tying a knot. So we're going to take this and fluff it up a little bit. And just glue it on the side. And I'm going to put another tie on that. Oh, that's not even cut straight. Poor Santa. So I'm just tying it right above the fringe. Just a knot. I'm not going to cut those ties until I'm done. Maybe we'll put something on there. So I'm just fluffing this up. And we're going to glue it to the side of his hat. Or maybe we'll just let it hang down into the fringe. We could do that too. I'm just pulling all this fringe out so it's not stuck in the glue. So I made just a rag bow, and there's 2 big rusty bells on it. I need to get some more of these bells and get rusting again. I'm running out of these big ones. So I'm just going to fluff this up and decide where we're putting it. I also have a rusty safety pin and a rusty heart. So we'll figure out what we're going to put where. So that would look cute there. It also would look cute on his hat. So what do y'all think? Hat or on his chest? Hi, Tanya. Hat. Yep, that's what I was thinking too. I liked it up there. So we can fluff it up again once we get it glued. So I have missed a lot of you since I've been locked out. I've been going through. I lost a lot of you. I've been going back and joining your pages and trying to catch up. It's like, I don't know why, but the one day I went on my page and I lost 50 followers. How did I do that? I don't know. So that came unglued. Let's hold that there for a second. Hi, Dorothy. No, you're not late. A snowflake. I don't have any in here, but that would be cute, huh? Yeah, I don't have any in here. So that does not want to stay glued. And I would send my husband to get it, but he would never find it. Heart on the left side. Yeah, how does that happen, Donna? 50 people I lost in one day. You didn't get the notification? Oh, thank you, Dawn. I don't know what's going on. I'm just holding this for a second. Since by laying him on his face, his eyebrows need taming again. So the next time I do safety pins, I'm going to do the big ones. These smaller ones are more difficult. So somebody had sent me a message and said that their dolls, they have a hard time using regular blush on their dolls because it brushes off. Just spray it with hairspray and it will seal it. I guess she's doing a craft show and had to redo all of her dolls' cheeks. So that one came off too. I must not have had enough glue on those. Crazy eyebrows. So let me move all of this. Now I bought, what did I do with it? Here it is. This from Hobby Lobby, it was $4.99, 15 feet on here. It's a garland of 2 different color felt leaves and a berry. So I've been taking these off and using them. But for $4.99, I mean, that's, you can't buy the felt and make it yourself for that. And they're just sewn on. There's a straight line sewn connecting the berry to the leaves. So it's, yeah, it is. It's very nice. And for $4.99, there's a lot of it on there. So I'm going to put these on his hat. Turn him around so I can see what I'm doing. We're going to grunge this one up. Let me move all of this out of my way. The other one I didn't grunge. This one I am. So what did I do with my tray? I just had it. Is that what fell at my feet? Oh, for heaven's sake. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. So I have coffee in a spray bottle. Sometimes I feel like I'm actually having an aneurysm. My algorithm. So I am, and I just took this from my pot. This is not instant coffee. But because we make pots of coffee, we don't use pods. Thank you for the hearts and the thumbs up. So I'm just spraying this whole thing. Just going right over it. But you can add instant coffee to this, We're doing both sides. Now, when faux fur gets wet, it kind of gets matted looking, but once it gets dry, it fluffs right back up. So now he looks like he's been in a real snowstorm. So we have, what, 15 minutes, so that's plenty of time. So I'm just going to rub this all in to darken him up, and we're getting out our cinnamon. And I am lightly going to just sprinkle this. And then I'm going to rub it in. And just going to grunge him up just a bit. I hope I'm not freezing for you all, because over here I keep freezing. So I have one I made earlier that's not grunged. This one I'm just going to grunge. And then when it's dry, I will knock all the excess cinnamon off. So I'm just making sure this is rubbed in his fur, beard. Oh, good. I'm glad, because my phone keeps circling over here for some reason. Okay. So for the ones that like grunge and very primitive, we have to have cinnamon and coffee. So he looks like he's been behind his sled too long. He must be at the end of his night. Oh, I didn't glue down his mustache, the sides. So I'm just rubbing it in. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Rita. So I'll show you the one that's not grunged. So I could not have done this if this tray would have gone somewhere. So this would look really nice sitting inside of a wreath. Oh, thank you, Yadi. Thank you, Wanda. So this lightweight canvas that I used to make his face out of, if you have a hard time getting something to take your coffee, it's because it has acrylic in it. And this canvas that I got, it has acrylic in it. So I really have to, if I want something to be really grunged or really coffee stained, I have to soak this. I do it before I go to work in the morning and leave it soak all day long to get it to take the color. I'm picking the Santa's shedding here. Because our acrylic does not want to take color. If you actually wanted to dye it, you have to put it in boiling water. Hi, Sheila. How are you? You have to put it in boiling water and let it boil with the dye to get it to take color. So I didn't realize this had acrylic in it when I purchased it, because I got 2 bolts of it when Joanne went out. So, yeah, so I'm going to use it. When he dries, I'm going to take a lint roller over him, because the poor guy's shedding. So I'm just blotting. I'm not rubbing his back of his head. I just want it to have a little color, just so the back of it's not stark white and the front isn't. I just sprayed my wall. Oh well. So we could even take, if you want it really grunged, you could take some, okay, maybe not, instant coffee and rub it in. Holy cow, that thing's sealed. Okay, you can take instant coffee and rub it in. Yow. If you want it even grungier. I have to have my husband open that. Did you guys ever have a, I mean, there's only like that much left in there. There it goes. Wow. Thank you. See, when I do this, I like to crumble those granules up smaller than what they are, unless I want it to look like very old and grubby. I will leave the whole granule there. And then rub it in. So then when you do this, just like you do in the candles, when you're putting the Mod Podge on, you just add more coffee and let that melt. And then you get a really old looking So those of you that like that old grubby look, this is how you can get it. And I'm just going over the granules to help them dissolve faster. Oh, the cat in your lap. So up after me is Yadi's Workshop. So y'all know her. She'll have something fabulous. If you didn't see Sharon on before me, go watch her. You can watch the replay. Okay, I'll join you, Sheila. Gotta watch Yadi. So there's the, now as this dries, it will darken. This velour doesn't show the coffee until after it's totally dry. And then here's the one that isn't grubby. I'm trying to keep him out of the coffee that's on this mat. So somebody told me that I never give the sizes of what I'm making Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate that. Oh, thank you, Dorothy. Thank you, Brenda. So I'm going to give you dimensions. I always keep a tape measure on my chair because I never know when I need it. 12 inches tall. A little over 8 inches wide. So, and I never think about it, and every time I don't do it, somebody tells me, what is the dimensions of it? Thank you, Barb. Thank you. I feel like I have glue on my fingers between the coffee and the hairspray. So if you have a lid that sticks, if you take Vaseline and on the inside, or mineral oil or baby oil, something like that, you won't be fighting your jar. So I'm going to do that. You can't type? You know what? I complain about my phone all the time. I'm just going to, whatever it types out, I'm just going to go with it from now on, because I'm constantly complaining to my husband, why is this thing typing this? That's not what I'm saying. I blame it on my phone, but hey, it seems like everybody's having that issue right now. So I appreciate Gia for having me. There's that one. Here, I'll show them again. And there's that one. So you can see the two different ones. And when this one dries, I will dry it probably with the heat tool. I gotta watch what I say. I've been locked the whole month of October. I was hardly on, because every time I went to go on, I was locked back out, and I don't know why. That's right, Barb. You get what you get. I did have a phone one time that it was ancient, and my kids made fun of me because it was ancient. And I was texting my sister, and what it sent her, thank God it was my sister, because I would have totally died. Thank you, Marsha. So my phone instantly rang, and she was laughing hilarious. And she said, what did you mean to say? Because this is what I got. I was like, oops. So I went and replaced my phone. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, Grubby, he's been behind the sled too long. And there's the one where they're just starting to get on the sled. So dirty and clean. So we still have a few minutes. So his head, see, it's moving. So I am going to put some more glue underneath the back or on the sides. I don't know if I can do it with him being wet. I'm wiping my fingers on my pants. That was smart. Thank goodness these are ones I just wear around the house. I wear uniforms so much, I hardly ever wear normal clothes. Yeah, that'll help. I glued the sides. You're right. He does need a Mrs. Claus. I will have to work on her. So, if you're on the Creative Crafters Ensemble page, all you have to do is pull it down and refresh it. And you can watch Yachty or go to her page and watch it. But I appreciate all of you for giving me your time and hanging out with me. You wear scrubs? Yeah. Well, I wear scrub pants because I have to wear black pants for work because they're more comfortable. So I wear those because I just never know what I'm getting into at work. Our floor machine broke. I trained one of the girls to use it. She went and used it, didn't tell me it wasn't functioning correctly. So we had to hand mop the floors. Oh my gosh. That was awful. And we have huge, long hallways. It was like, the next time those need mopped, before that thing gets fixed, the guys are going to do it. Not me. I couldn't move. I did a hallway and a half. It took 2 hours to do a hallway and a half, and I was done. I was wiped out. Hi, Karen. Thank you for watching. God bless all of you. I will work on a Mrs. Claus and hang out and watch. Just refresh your page for Yachty. Thank you, Gia. Love you all. I mean it. Thank you.